Roger is with us. Roger with Aquiline Drones. Did I say it properly?
Yes, you did.
Awesome. So he is here to share. He has a lot of really exciting things that are happening. He's going to share about the Aquiline drones and then also Flight to the Future, which he's going to talk a little bit about the training, equipment, and the gig economy. So full of really, really good information. And with that, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, well, hello everybody, and thanks for that nice introduction. I have a slick PowerPoint that we put together just a week or two ago for the FAA for Drone Safety Awareness Week. So I'm going to try to run through that. I'm still kind of new to it with PowerPoint, but I think I'll do okay. If you just indulge me, can everybody, Desi, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Wonderful. And let's see. This. Why is this not letting me do this? There we go. Okay, now we're good. All right, so Aquiline Drones, specifically Flight to the Future. We begin by talking a little bit about the company and then going into more depth about Flight to the Future and the drone industry as a whole, where we see it now and where things are headed. Let me see here. Trying to get rid of this screen. Okay, so Aquiline Drones. What is Aquiline Drones? Okay, we are America's fastest growing drone company by far at this point. We're a little bit different than everybody else out there in a couple of very unique ways. First and foremost, we're an airline. We're a Part 135 certificated airline. We're one of only 4 in the entire United States that uses drones on their certificate, not strictly manned aircraft. Of course, the other 3 being UPS, Google, and Amazon. We were founded by aviators. You see that distinguished gentleman on the left next to me waving in front of the 747. That's Barry Alexander. He's our CEO and co-founder. And we take an aviation mindset to the entire commercial UAV ecosystem and operation. Aquiline Drones was conceived of about 5 years ago. That's when we entered incubation. That's when Barry started flying the 747 around the world, first for a company called Western Global, and then later for a company called Atlas. And Barry, as he was traveling, quickly realized that commercial drone operations were at large scale in large parts of the world, even though they really didn't exist in any meaningful way in the US. Large scale deployment for the last 10 years in Asia, Australia, parts of Europe, the Middle East, and the like. So seeing that what was on the horizon for the US, he used his time and his travel to vet the industry, learn about what the capabilities and limitations were of the hardware and software that were out there, and also build a world-class team. Aquiline Drones exited incubation 2 years ago, just shy of 2 years in January of 2019. And we've really taken the industry by storm. We are an entire ecosystem, okay? We're an airline, we're drone solutions, and we're an aviation cloud company. We own all of that. We also provide insurance and drone services, and we've designed and built the world's first drone on-demand services app, which is really nothing more complicated than understanding we've taken the gig economy approach for the first time in the world and applied it to commercial UAVs. Okay, why now? Right, Desi and I were talking back and forth about what a great industry this is to be in right now. And there's a lot of things going on. I think first and foremost, you've had this technology deployed and vetted for a long period of time and really start to mature through other parts of the world. At the same time, the FAA, for a large part of that time, didn't allow any of those operations here. So you have a little bit of a pent-up demand. Actually, have a lot of pent-up demand. And you also are seeing, because of COVID-19, for the first time, Just the start, but for the first time, you're seeing positive stories about drones in the news. Not every story is like it was last time, where the only time a drone was in the news was when there was a security concern or airspace violation, or they had to shut down an airport. Now you're seeing that drones are being publicized and touted in the media for contactless delivery, disinfection, delivering critical medical supplies, testing kits, and the like. So people are starting to formulate for the first time, the general public, a positive view of drones. You also have a situation where millions of people have outright lost their job or are underemployed. Take, for example, the aviation industry, anything in travel. Airline pilots in particular, thousands of them have lost their job outright, and tens of thousands have seen significant pay cuts, like in the order of half. So now they're underemployed, and these people are looking for ways to replace that lost income. Now, the industry, as we all know, only was allowed to start to develop under the Part 107 regulations about 4 years ago. And that short period of time, of 4 years, it's grown to over $20 billion a year just in the US. It's absolutely incredible. It's almost unheard of. And it continues to grow. It's forecasted by Forbes to be over 40 billion in just a few years. Demand is increasing, and the technology is becoming more and more capable as well. And at the same time, even if things were stagnant, which they certainly aren't, we all know that there is a shortage of properly trained and equipped drone pilots. The bar as far as getting your 107 license is set pretty low. But that's all that you need to do. Now it's just kind of a patchwork. A lot of people, once they get that 107 license, they go out and they crash a few drones trying to figure it out. And some actually go ahead and take the extra step of getting properly trained. But there really is no kind of quality assurance that's been widely, that the industry has coalesced around, so that somebody can go ahead and look at a pilot without ever having met them, look at their qualifications, and know that they're good, that person who's going to show up and fly that mission is going to be properly trained. And as far as equipment, we're talking about US produced drone and drone hardware. I'm sure many people around this call are well aware that DJI drones, Chinese drones, whether you agree with it or not, are actively being pushed out of our airspace. You can look no further than the Drone Security Act of 2019, which is making its way through Congress now, has broad bipartisan support that would completely eliminate Chinese drones in US airspace effectively for commercial applications once passed, or the Department of Justice ruling just a few months ago, which cut off all funding for not only purchasing of Chinese drones, but also operation of those drones. So essentially overnight, just taking them off the table. So the time for us to be in this industry, whether you're a US based manufacturer like we are, or whether you are an operator who just wants to go out and fly missions, it is really the industry to be in as of today. So flight to the future. I mentioned on the last slide that we've developed the world's first drone on demand services app. Flight to the future is half of that greater project. It's the supply side. It's where we find the pilots and train the pilots and certify, insure everything for them to go ahead and fly those missions. What we're talking about with the Flight to the Future app is not anything like a jobs board, like some of the ones that are out there. Okay, this is completely different. It is UAV operations reimagined. Flight to the Future is a collection of carefully tailored courses supported by an online curriculum and business formation recipe that allow you to start your professional UAV business. It is turnkey. Okay, it is your own business. We handle everything. Once we get you in the program, all the way up to including insurance and promotion of the business through the Drone on Demand Services app. It's a chance to get out of unemployment or underemployment and reinvent yourself for the high technology future. And that is whether you are already a current drone operator, a commercial operator, or a prosumer, or somebody who thinks that they'd like to go ahead and get involved in the commercial UAV industry. With the Flight to the Future program, what's included? Drone pilot training and certification course. Okay, that's at a minimum. As I mentioned before, anybody who's taken the Part 107 license knows how easy it is. It does not ensure that you've learned everything that you need to stay safe and compliant as you go out and operate in the field. We have an online training program that teaches beyond the test, well beyond what you need to pass the FAA certification, and give you everything that you need in order to be responsible and compliant with the regulation when you go out there. We also teach you our AD Cloud, our software suite that handles every aspect of your drone mission, the data capture and the planning and the execution, all the way up to and including full command and control C2 of the operation. Okay. Then we go to step 3 of the 4-step program, which is a mind-expanding journey into drone applications. Okay, master a commercial solution, and there's currently 6, and I think it's on the next slide that we teach. And then step 4, we register your business. It is your own LLC that is there for your protection and your tax benefit. It is not a franchise. You're not required to use AD branding, and you're not required to pay any franchising fees. We give you free drone insurance for a year. That is a $10 million liability policy and a hull policy. And that is included with the program. That alone is over a $2,300 value. Anybody who's doing complex commercial drone operations out there knows just how expensive it is. And the reason why it is so expensive in the general market is because there's a lot of bad practices out there. It's essentially the Wild West. Everybody on the call knows how it is. Since we have the entire ecosystem from training all the way through to manufacturing, quality assurance, and maintenance on the drones, we have many risk mitigation controls in there that allows us to go ahead and do that, so that you no longer have to be overpaying for insurance, essentially paying for other people's bad practices. The cloud, the entire software suite that you learned in step 2 is free for 1 year. And we'll even finance the hardware for you if you like, so that there's no upfront costs. And then simply take a small percentage, 10% of the missions that you complete through the Drone On Demand app to satisfy the payment options. And then, of course, drone opportunities nationwide. It's as simple as turning on your phone, defining the geographic area you want to operate in, and then just selecting the jobs that are in that area that you want to work. All right, step 1, a little bit more in depth. Like I said, training to the FAA, pass the FAA certification, well beyond the test. Some of you on the call, many of you maybe already have a Part 107 license or are a Part 61 pilot, manned aircraft pilot, and you still have to go through step 1. Just the same as when I was flying 747, if I went to another company to fly the same airplane, they would still run me through the entire program, because they need to be ensured that you are trained to their standards, not just the FAA standards. And we handle that the same way. Of course, you don't have to sit and take the exam, the FAA exam a second time, but you do have to go ahead and complete all modules. Here's a short video that explains step 1 a little bit in depth. So as we watch it, I will stop talking.
Prepare for takeoff in 3, 2, 1. The drone industry is currently rated at billions of dollars, with the expectation of it doubling within the next few years. And Aquiline Drones is one of the nation's fastest growing drone and cloud solutions companies. With Flight to the Future, you are now a part of it all and have real potential to make 6 figures within your first year of operating your commercial drone company. So then, welcome to the future of aviation. This is step 1 in the Flight to the Future program. At the completion of this step, you'll have a thorough understanding of drones, aviation, aerodynamics, and the National Airspace System, which is essential for safely operating your commercial drone. Along your journey, you'll be introduced to all the key topics that are covered in the FAA's Commercial Drone Pilot Certification Examination, enabling you to successfully get licensed as a professional drone operator. There are two distinct parts in this educational journey. The first part introduces you to drones, how they're made, what technologies are utilized, and the best practices that have emerged in the industry. You'll learn about drone engineering, airframe design, and flight characteristics that are key to understanding the capabilities of your aviation equipment as a future drone operator. The second part of this educational journey focuses on the rules, regulations, and environmental restrictions that define and influence your operational processes and decisions. In particular, you'll learn about the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, and its responsibilities for governing civilian aviation. The future of aviation will integrate manned and unmanned aircraft in the same airspace. It is therefore important that you, as a professional unmanned aerial services provider, understand the complex ecosystem of airports, traffic controllers, and navigational facilities that make up the national airspace system, so you can be prepared to operate safely and efficiently, just as manned aircraft pilots do. Throughout the journey, you'll be challenged to demonstrate your knowledge as you progress through the curriculum. Smart assessments at the end of each lesson further consolidate your understanding of the topics, allowing you to optimally benefit from your experience as you progress forward. Each lesson also offers a carefully curated selection of advanced topics, related bibliography that students can delve into for a deeper understanding of concepts, technologies, and best practices. For instance, see how the current technologies are being pushed to the limit to deliver autonomous drone operations that are just over the horizon, similar to the situation with driverless cars. Get a glimpse of the complex computer science and mathematics that is being employed to develop new capabilities that have the potential to disrupt the aviation industry. See how drones are evolving rapidly by examining what some of the industry innovators are doing. From heavy lift cargo drones to luxury passenger taxis, aviation is poised for a complete overhaul. By embarking on this educational journey, you are a key contributor for this transformation. Once you've mastered the necessary skills and gained an understanding of the topics presented, you'll sign up to take the FAA certification exam. Aquiline Drones will guide you through that process, and after you pass, will assist you in getting certified with the FAA as a licensed commercial drone pilot. This completes step 1 in your journey, and you're well on your way to owning your own drone business. With the skills and knowledge you now possess, along with the FAA certification, you are ready and qualified to continue forward in the flight to the future. Are you ready to launch yourself into the aviation future? Your journey starts now.
All right, so that's a in-depth description of step 1. And let me do this. There we go. So after that, that culminates with the passage of the FAA Part 107 exam, if you don't have one already. And then you move right into step 2 of the online course, which is learning the AD cloud, how to use it for your missions, because the cloud is central to everything. That's where it's all housed. Here's a nice infographic that shows the different aspects of the operation where the cloud comes into play. And it's really everything. So all of the data that the drone captures is seamlessly in near real time sent to the cloud for the customer to access. We handle all the editing of the data. You just simply capture that. So you're not going to have to spend any time on the ground or back home in the office going in and stitching data together or editing it. We take care of all of that for you. And it all syncs via LTE or Wi-Fi connection. And if you're in an area that doesn't have that connection. All the data gets stored on the drone. The drone has edge computing capabilities to be uploaded later when it picks up a signal. There's no connecting a cable, there's no swapping a memory stick or anything like that. And the customer can actually monitor the data as it's being captured from their own dashboard. Mission planning, you'll have everything that you're used to using in preparing your drone missions, all your free sources, METARs, TAFs, NOTAMs, all that sort of stuff, weather information for the uninitiated, all aggregated right there in a very intuitive, easy to use dashboard. You'll have access to the FAA's LANCE system that gives you permission, oftentimes in a matter of just seconds, to go ahead and launch in controlled airspace. And you'll have a full C2 command and control capability. For a lot of these missions, they're predefined. You're simply going to be going out to the site, deploying the drone, letting it do its thing, and then collecting it when it lands. Also, all maintenance for the drone is tracked automatically through the cloud in an aviation-style preventative maintenance program. So you're not going to be flying a drone until something fails. The AI is smart enough to know historically when parts do fail, and prior to reaching that point, going ahead and sending an alert for replacement, adjustment, or overhaul. So we're logging not just all of the hours and flight cycles on the drone itself, but also the individual critical components. And all of that is done without you even having to think about it through the cloud. So you'll learn that in step 2. Step 3 is master commercial solution. There's 6 right now that we train for, and those represent collectively about 90% of the currently commercially viable drone operations that are out there. As the regulation changes and the technology changes, we'll add more. But the 6 you can choose from right now, very simple: videography, survey and mapping, perimeter security, asset inspection, livestock, wildlife monitoring, crop vegetative monitoring. Demand for these services, well, for commercial UAV services in general, is extraordinarily strong and growing across the entire United States. And there is some varying as far as what type of service is in demand in each locale. For example, if you're in a dense urban environment, not a whole lot of livestock or crop vegetation, but a whole lot of everything else. And conversely, if you're out in the Midwest somewhere, not a whole lot of asset inspection, but a whole lot of farming. And as part of the program, you'll have access to all of that. We've actually gone ahead and gone county by county throughout the entire United States, where you can go ahead and look at each individual county and apply filters for those 6 operations and see just how many companies are registered in each county that have demand for each of those. So you'll be well informed when it comes time to make that decision. And you can always go back just to step 3 and take on more if you'd like. And then step 4, business 101, fundamentals of accounting, client, customer relationship management, and the like. And of course, we register the LLC, we give you the insurance, and we give you the option of selecting the hardware. You're not obligated to buy our hardware at the end of the program, not at all. You do need our hardware if you are going to represent AED's brand by completing jobs through the Drone on Demand Services app. But you certainly don't have to commit to any of that or even decide until you get to the end of the program. And of course, the on-demand onboarding for the Drone on Demand Services app. People who have gone through this program are the only ones who are going to have access to those jobs, which makes sense because they're the only ones that are properly equipped and trained on our ecosystem. So we talked about drone on demand a little bit, the Uber for drones, okay? It's very, very simple to understand how it works. You'll have a lead-in period of 3 days or more. So let's say you want to start flying on a Thursday. You go ahead and turn it on a Monday, and you'll see a dot, a blue dot, and that blue dot is you on the map. And you define what geographic area you would like to work in. You can go from as small as 5 miles all the way up to 100 miles. And you'll see the jobs that you're trained for in that area go ahead and pop up. You're going to earn a minimum of $150 an hour. That's a lot of money. Some of you may be out there already earning $300 an hour or more, charging $300 or more for your service. But keep in mind that you've had to build a cutting edge business the old fashioned way, the same way it's been done for 1,000 years. You've had to invest heavily in the back end on a website, possibly advertising, certainly going out, finding clients, knocking on doors, networking, all of these things which you don't get paid for. You don't have to do any of that with the Drone on Demand Services app and Flight to the Future. You certainly can. You are not restricted in any way to go out and hustle your own business. But all of the time that you spend flying, you're ready to go day one, and you can work as many jobs as you want. You earn a minimum of $150 an hour. Frequently, you'll earn more than that, but we set the floor at $150 and a minimum billable period of 2 hours per job. So you will never earn less than $300 per job. And if you think about that, if you do just 2 jobs a day, you're working less than 4 hours. You're getting paid for 4. You're making $600 a day in 4 hours or less, 5 days a week, and say you work 50 weeks out of a 52-week year. That's $150,000. $150,000 with very little time and money invested in the front end. So it's a very powerful concept. And it also, these services that you're being paid $150 an hour for or more, we're charging the customers around $170 an hour for. So the customers now have a much better and much less expensive experience. They're assured of a certain level of professionalism and competency when they go ahead and order the job. They know that the drones are going to be U.S. manufactured and properly maintained, and they know that their pilots are going to be properly insured. They know all that without ever talking to a single person. They go ahead and order up their missions from there, whether it be their tablet, their desktop, whatever. Go ahead and define it, and it takes them less than a minute. And they know that somebody's going to come out and fly the mission properly. So you're making it much cheaper and much easier for the customer. And the pilots are assured of making a solid income without having to go ahead and handle all those other aspects that an entrepreneur typically has to handle. Very, 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 very powerful concept. And it's difficult for somebody who's outside of the ecosystem to compete. Even if they want to go ahead and price match and lower their price in order of half, they still have to do all of those things that we talked about to hustle for that business, which is very expensive in terms of time. Going forward into next year, we're going to begin limiting the number of pilots from Flight to the Future that are onboarded at each geographic area. We don't want too many pilots chasing too few opportunities. So as this system fills out throughout the country, a lot of people who didn't get in those early stages are going to find themselves on the outside looking in. Because our number one priority is not only to the customers, but also to you, the Flight to the Future student, who's not just a customer, but a longtime partner with Aquiline. And this is an infographic that really just goes into everything that we talked about. Just think, it's not a perfect analogy, but it's a very good analogy. Just think of yourself as a very skilled, highly trained Uber driver. Where you're collecting data instead of you're collecting passengers. It really is that simple. You're onboarded, and then you go to work, and you work as much or as little as you want, and you only work on the days that you want. And you'll see before you ever select a job, the what, where, when, and how much is going to hit your bank account for that job before you ever commit to it. And if it looks good, go ahead and grab it. And if not, let it sit out there. Somebody else will come take it. That'll be fine. Work the jobs that you want to work, nothing more, nothing less. So we are building up our social media presence, and I've been asked to ask all of you if you could go on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, any or all of them, one of them, I don't care, and tag Aquiline Drones. Make a post about this presentation or anything that you really want. Tag Aquiline Drones and Women in Aviation. And I will give the first 5, or we will select, I think there's a committee, 5 to receive a free AD t-shirt. It would really help me out because I just don't have the time to go ahead and build this out. And to be honest with you, other than Facebook and LinkedIn, I'm really not too familiar with Instagram and Twitter. So if you could do that for me, I would be personally grateful for it. And you might get a t-shirt, and I'll show you the t-shirt here in a minute. So let's open it up to questions. I'll take the screen share off. Hopefully I didn't put anybody to sleep. Where am I? I'm gone.
Looks like the screen share has been brought down and we can see you on there. We only have a few minutes for the Q&A, but I did see a couple that actually came in. Oh, there's your shirt. Okay.
Right? Not bad.
Nice. Nice. So that's a post on social media to get that shirt. And then we do have time for maybe 1 or 2 questions, but we're already at 9:38. So we'll need to go to our breakout sessions quickly. Looks like Roseanne, you had one, and it looks like Founts had one about the franchise fee. We have a couple in here. Founts, you asked about the franchise fee.
There is no franchise fee to sign up for the program. It's typically $9.99, and that gives everything that we went through. For Christmas and the holidays, we're running a special where everybody, whether they're pilot or non-pilot, is getting the pilot pricing. People are already licensed for $7.99. Going forward, there are no franchising fees at all. It's not a franchise. $9.99. That's $999, Johnny. That really would be a screaming deal. $7.99 to everyone. Yes, if you register before Christmas. And going into next year, at some point in the first quarter, the price is going up to $3,000 with a payment plan. So by getting in early, you're not only getting a greatly reduced cost, but you're also getting assurance and guarantee that you're going to be placed in whatever market you choose to operate in. Going forward in the next year, like I said, it will be based on on our need to fill certain markets. And if you're in a market that's in danger of getting saturated, we're going to have to waitlist those people.
All right. So it looks like we have quite a few questions popping in here. I'm not even sure if I could keep up with them at this point.
Because I know we'll answer as many as we can. Anything that we don't get to, please send an email to info@aquilinedrones.com, AQUILINE, info@aquilinedrones.com, and we'll get everybody's questions answered.
Let me go in here and type that in here for everybody. Actually, Jennifer Pigeon is much faster at this than I am.
Roger, this is Sam. I just wanted to, one of the other questions was, does any of the training include the equipment?
So that $9.99 cost doesn't include the equipment. The equipment for the majority of missions will call for this, our Hercules 2 drone, if you can see that there. The drone costs about $4,000. And you have the option, if you decide that you want to be onboarded with the Drone on Demand services, you have the option of just purchasing outright, or we will send it to you with no money down and just take that 10% out until the drone is paid off.
Awesome. Okay, so we do have several in there. I did put in the info@aquilinedrones.com. I put that in there. I put your information in there as well. And so what are you able to, Roger, are you able to do a save on the chat? If not, I'll send it to you. There are several more questions still in there. And so I would like to give people an opportunity to reach back out to you and have more time. With that, I think we are going to head to our breakout sessions. And then because we have the information in there, they'll be able to reach back out to you. And I know they're going to get a t-shirt from you because they're all going to jump on social media. So we thank you so much. Obviously, a lot of good information. People are still wanting more, which is always a good thing, right? Gives you that opportunity to connect. Got a couple of thank yous coming in there as well. So I am going to go ahead and turn this over to the breakout sessions. We have 3 rooms. When you get into the room, if you could designate a room host, and it looks like we're going to have some good sized rooms, but we really only have about 12 minutes inside the room already. So we're going to go ahead and jump in there. And again, Roger, thank you so much.
Thank you, Desi. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to come and listen to us.